for our analog waveguide. This is CHAIR, the Center for Haptic Audio Interaction Research. And I would be very happy if I have a little audience. I squeezed in between Yamaha and Rhodes and in the presentations, and I would like to show you this analog Eurorack module called the waveguide. And what is it? What's the history? Let me give you a little bit of a background first. The original idea for this device comes from Michael Gerson. He is famous for being the inventor of ambisonics. He also worked for Lexington to design a lot of famous reverbs and delay circuits. And in 1971, he wrote an article in a kind of an audio enthusiasts magazine, so nothing really scientific, about reverberation design. And there he had an illustration of a signal flow diagram, actually, of a reverb that he said that should sound really good, but and then he explains why you cannot build it. He says, unfortunately, the tape delays, they have too much flutter, they're too long, the bucket brigades, they're too noisy, the digital delays back at that time were too expensive and they were only available in certain sizes. So sadly, you can't build it. And then 20 years later, Miller-Packard actually implemented a version digitally in PD. And through this publication, we found the original design, and we thought, we can build this today. And it's analog with bucket brigade delays implemented. So it's a reverberator, it's a resonator. Unlike the original design was intended to be a kind of a room reverb, we use much shorter times in the delay and use it as a resonator. So a resonator means you need to give it some kind of input click or noise burst or something to make something happening, resonating in this resonator. This can be done by either sending it signals through a sequencer or with a keyboard. Thanks to Yamaha, I have a keyboard today here. And I will show you both variants, and in the end I will show you how to make it self-resonating in its own, to have some kind of feedback or turn it all the way up, the sensitivity, so that the noise inside the bucket brigades can start to self-excite the resonances. Okay, so now I turn up this, and then let's start with using this sequencer, Italian sequencer by No Modular, and let's press play. And here we have these two. There's a click. The click sounds like this. It already has. Let's take this rhythm here. This. Okay, now let's feed this into our resonator and see how it sounds then. Can I get a little bit more volume? The sequencer also has a CV out for each event. So this is the gate I'm feeding directly in here, and the CV out can control the pitch. And here I can change the pitch. Which one is this note? Okay, let's switch this on. It's this one. You can give the make it a little bit more interesting by feeding this first through a bandpass filter to give this a little bit more color. Now let's hear how the bandpass filter sounds individually. And now the output of the bandpass inside our filter. And now listen to the stereo. So I need to explain what's actually happening here. These are two analog delay lines. They're in parallel. You can imagine them as right channel, left channel, or as X and Y on a plane. And then every time the feedback process happens, so the output of the delay line gets fed back into the delay line, we can take these two signals and rotate them. If we imagine these two signals on a plane, X and Y, we have the signal on a point oscillating around the 0 point. And that point we can rotate around the 0 point of that coordinate system. And so that's the same mathematically as saying, okay, we mix a part of one into the other one and mix part of the other one in the first one. So it's a kind of a times sine or times cosine operation, matrix rotation. And the effect of this, or the properties of this, there's two important properties. One, the sum of both signals is still power preserving. This is super important for resonators because they don't explode or they don't die. And the second thing that happens is that the overtone spread becomes inharmonic, meaning with this kind of design of we can create sounds that are not sounding only like with the traditional Kapler-Strong like strings, but because strings are one-dimensional, we can do sounds that sound like plates, like cymbals, like snares, like drums, like membranes. Because we have in this algorithm or in this signal flow kind of reflections on a two-dimensional area. And this timbre changes when I turn this rotation knob. So for completeness, let's take a second channel here and excite the other half. If there's nothing patched in there, it's just copied over from the first channel. Okay, now let's try to play the keyboard with it. This was the sequencer, and now we will start patching it. So here is the MIDI connected here, and this module gives me the MIDI out as CV signals. And let's see. What we want to do is we can use the trigger and put this into the input. Okay, this is obviously not enough. We can also use the this trigger through the bandpass filter. And you see all the notes are the same, so we need to do something about this as well. Here's the pitch. Is this cable working? Okay, so there's more stuff to do to make this sound nice. First, the trigger. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, this sounds okay. Trigger needs to be connected here to in the VCA to the velocity. So the velocity controls the VCA, and the trigger goes into this in and out in the now I have something that I can play louder and less loud, but why is this not really resonating? And the pitch is not really doing anything. It's the first time I do this kind of demo in front of more than one person. Let's see. Still doesn't really sound amazing. There's still so much clicky stuff in here. Now we're getting there. So this is still not a good keyboard because I press the key and then there's too much decay. So what I do is I use the send and return of this module, and I use the gate signal that is open as long as the key is pressed to control the other VCA. And then I just disrupt this send and return, so it's closed once key is pressed. But when I remove the key, so we're getting there. Sounds like a synth. We can also add a little bit more room by adding effects. Here, Erica's Pico DSP in this case. Send in. And we use the send channel, and this is where it comes out. Left. Now I put it in a different channel here in the mixer, so I can. This is no reverb, more reverb. You can see if it's very low, we hear the clock noise coming through. Okay, so it's a fully analog signal path, but you still have the clocking of the bucket brigades, of course. Mr. Rhodes, when does your time slot start? Okay, I have time. Thank you. Okay, now last thing I wanted to show you is doing some self-resonation. So I'm removing all the cables to controls, and what I want to do is I want to have the module without any input, just self-resonating. So it gets much easier, less cable salad here. And I move, so